Please tell me there's sound. Is there sound? Venus retrograde, Shukracharya. Thank you for correcting me back and forth this past 2 weeks. All right, there's sound now. KRS is in business. So, I was starting my video earlier saying that the motivation to make this video, it really started from Prashna. Because as you know, back in 2014 was it that I first started, like transits and nakshatras. Then I just like, whatever. But this Prashna really triggered it. Why? Yesterday, and as I talk to you, Sandeep is texting me back. He's literally one of my nakshatra gurus besides Dr. Pai. So man, Prashna, as you know, is horary astrology. Astrology of when you ask a question and to see what the result of that question is, what the fulfillment of that question. And also, Prashna or the horary astrology shows what is happening in the environment. The Prashna is related to Narayana. Who is Narayana? Remember, no matter if I talk about Narayana, Shiva, Narayana, Shiva, Krishna, Brahma, they all lead to one thing, Vishnu. Vishnu is the president. He's not the CEO, he's not the CFO. So is Narayana at work? Every single second it shows what is happening. When you study Prashna, and especially through Sastyamsa chart, D60 chart, it really just boggles my mind how our life is predetermined. The Sastyamsa chart, which is known as a D60 chart in Vedic astrology, changes 2.5 minutes, every 2.5 minutes. The activities of your brain, the activities of your body changes every 2.5 minutes. The things that you're thinking about, they change. Study Satyamsa chart. Because just yesterday, actually, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? I suddenly got this urge to watch this documentary on George Washington, the first president of the United States. I've never been interested in history as much, but suddenly it came up on my Amazon suggestion. And I'm like, all right, I'm done with work, whatever, let me just watch it. So I'm watching it. Then I'm like, why am I watching this right now? Out of curiosity, I looked at the Prashna. I turned the Prashna on, which that too I rarely do, unless it's a question asked. And not even the birth chart of the Prashna, the Sastyamsha chart gave exactly what is happening. Exactly what was happening. In Sastyamsha chart, okay, Scorpio was rising. Third house represents the communication. Who you're talking to, who is coming up to you, and what are they going to talk about. Third house also is television, internet, dramatic arts, right? Social media. And I was watching George Washington. During that time, third lord of what I was watching was in the ninth house, which is Saturn. Okay? In the sign of Cancer. And third house at that time had Rahu in it. In the Sastyamsha, in the sign of Capricorn. So I am watching something foreign, something about a foreigner, number one. Number two, I'm watching something about history, which is Saturn. Saturn went where? In the ninth house of father, counselor, preacher, general. Okay? Because Guru is the Karka, meaning the significator. Jupiter is the significator of the ninth house. Jupiter, I taught this in my school as well, he's the general, the military general. So I was watching something about history which was related to the ninth house. And what is George Washington known as? He's the father of this nation. If you type in father of United States, father of nation, George Washington comes up. Thomas Jefferson, uh, Benjamin Franklin. All these guys come up. John Adams. They're the forefathers, the father of this nation. So I was watching the father. I was watching the general. And Saturn at that time in Sastyamsha was in Pushya Nakshatra. Pushya is a nakshatra of a priest, a guide, and an inspirational person like a business coach, motivational coach, a patriot. And it just cleared. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Then, why did I watch that? Why did I click on it? Because look, Sastyamsha is changing 2.5 minutes, so many times. And in that time, the exact same thing came up before too. Maybe just 3 days ago, 10 days ago. Why didn't I watch it? Well, then I went to the transit of Jupiter. Jupiter is now in Scorpio. In the nakshatra of Vishaka. There's a difference between Vishaka nakshatra in Libra versus being in Scorpio. In Scorpio, as you know, Vishaka nakshatra is a nakshatra of Indra, the king of heavens, the gods of gods. He's like the district manager, and he manages all the other managers of the other stores. But in Libra side, it's Indra and Agni. Okay? This is where Indra is enjoying, drinking lavishly, there's many other things that he does, but one of the things that happens with Indra on the Libra side, he gets accused of rape, accused of womanizing. What was happening when Jupiter was in Libra? The Me Too movement came about, right? It was all related to that. All the things related to the king, controversies of the king occurred. Meaning the only person that has been in the most controversies is Donald Trump. But when it comes to the Scorpio side, Indra now is ready to face the battle, and he's the military general. And as soon as Jupiter transited Scorpio, now the military general, the interest towards that military personnel, the guru, the Indra came into play. So George Washington was a general. He was the Indra of United States. And literally the whole documentary made me fall in love with George Washington because of the fact how humble he was as a person, as the first president. He would just take his horse as a president, go travel the country, and he'll knock on people's door saying that, hey, can I stay at night at your home so I can go to my journaling, and then people were just astonished, surprised that a president of the United States is coming here to stay with us. So, what's going to be happening with this Jupiter? Because in Scorpio, Jupiter is going to be in part Vishaka, Anuradha, and Jyeshtha. So on Vishaka's side, Jupiter, which represents the law, Jupiter, which represents the dharma, the Jupiter, which represents the higher knowledge, the guru, the general, the counselor. You're going to see in many court cases up until the Vishaka point, they're going to have split decisions on things. There's going to be quite a few of generals and government officials splitting from government. They're going to be either giving their resignation, getting fired, going off on their own. You're going to see many people who were either in government or higher up in the corporate world will suddenly try to take a more spiritual path. In this time period, most students, most scholars will not only find interest in what they're learning, whether it's psychology, engineering, arts, liberal arts, but suddenly they're going to find interest in occult, mysticism. Why occult and mysticism? Because especially on the Scorpio side, Libra as well, but on Scorpio side, Indra learned occult and mystical knowledge to fight off his enemies, to protect himself. So now many of scholars, not regular people, scholars who never even looked at astrology, will suddenly come to the path of astrology because they want to gain something from it to help themselves. These things will happen. Sudden interest. Your friend who never believed in astrology, okay, will suddenly would want to know about it. Whether they're going through something or whether it just is sparked in their head, some situation will come up where those things will happen. Jupiter, especially in Scorpio, is going to be transforming. He's going to see Jupiter and Scorpio, as I said in the previous video, that's excellent. Jupiter and Sun are these two planets that actually enjoy being in Scorpio. Because remember, Jupiter is the strategist. He strategized for the king, told him what to do when to go in the war, how to go in the war, what date to pick in the war. So he was not only the astrologer, the priest, but the general. So here, Jupiter loves to strategize, deal with secret information. Jupiter is the one, the guru, who can go into the dark hole, the darkest places, the most scariest places. A guru, let's say for example, like Sri Yukteswar, Yogananda, whomever you believe in, Sai Baba, they can walk in the dark and just stay there and meditate. And they're like, what is everybody scared of? You guys said you saw some ghost or apparition down there. I'm just meditating all night there. I'm not even sleeping. Can somebody tell me what's wrong here? That's what guru is. They love it because they are so high. Because you got to remember, Jupiter is otherworldly. Jupiter is heavenly. Jupiter, to deal with these minute situations of human lives, it's a joke. So when Jupiter comes in Scorpio, he takes all of that trash out of unnecessary fear, seeing something which is not there, delusions, like, oh, I think I see an apparition, while it was just the eyes of your cats being reflected with light, and it looked sparkly, but it was just a cat in the basement. So Jupiter enjoys being in Scorpio. In Indra, it will fight off evil. As Indra, Jupiter becomes Indra. He says, I'm here to finish you, end you, so you don't put this unnecessary fear into other people. And especially Jupiter in Vishaka becomes excellent at winning negotiations, excellent in getting things what they want. So usually in this particular period, military general, like what do they call there's a specific title, Homeland Security or Homeland Advisor. Homeland Advisor becomes more important than even the president. They're able to take on deals, win battles that really saves a country. So on the mundane level, you will see how the Homeland Advisor, the Homeland Security Council becomes quite a prominent figure in pretty much all governmental figures. Then Jupiter goes into Anuradha. In Anuradha Nakshatra, you will see there will be transformation in Greece financial conditions. In all the things that Greece has dealt with, there will be a new transformation coming out from the dark hole. And especially when Jupiter is in Anuradha, do not try to cheat off a guru. Do not try to cheat off an actual guru. Not somebody you think of as an advisor or a guru. Not somebody you just think of as a mentor. I'm talking about like somebody who's known as a guru. Don't try to talk back to them. Don't try to say that they're this, they're that if you do not know. If you're just using your own ego to put them down, don't do that. Because this is where Krishna will come back to you. And Jupiter in Anuradha is a time when gurus are at their highest state. You need to bow to gurus in Anuradha. Like, for example, if Yogananda was alive, you would bow to him instead of pointing fingers at him. You want to point fingers? Point fingers when it's in Vishaka, when it's in Jeshta, but not in Anuradha. This is where the connection of Guru is very strong with Krishna, very strong with Radha. And they do not want to see Guru being insulted. I believe there's a quote in Bhagavad Gita where it says that you can do anything to me, but don't do anything to a Guru. Something of that sort. In Anuradha, if you're in banking industry, banking, finance, economics, you'll be able to make last minute deals. You'll be able to, any deal that is going bad, you'll be able to save that financial deal. Jupiter may actually bring you a sudden money, hidden money. Whether it's you finding money in the couch, whether you're finding $1,000 on the street, Jupiter most definitely will bring in situation for populations, especially when Jupiter is in the 8th house, like for Aries ascendant or Aries moon people. Suddenly that money can come in. And one will go far off journeys in Anuradha, especially if Jupiter is in your 9th or 12th house transiting, to gain your money, to gain your wealth. Then Jupiter comes into Jeshta. Again, the nakshatra of Indra. This is the more powerful nakshatra of Indra. This is where Indra is on the battlefield. And as you know, Indra barely ever lost a battle. And this is where the world economy will be at the forefront, especially the economies that have been doing poorly. They have been suffering. Indra is going to win the battle to change their financial status. Any country that goes on war during Jupiter in Jeshta will be winning battles. Not the one, because look, both they're going to be at war at someone, right? That doesn't mean both of them win. The one who declares war, the one who declares war with Jupiter and Jeshta will be so clever, so manipulative, so strategic that they'll just quickly win. And especially in your own mundane life, Jupiter in Jeshta will definitely bring in challenges into people's lives, but those who trigger those challenges will win. Those who say, I'm going to take on this challenge, I'm going to do this. Like one who's being bullied finally says, I'm going to face this bully. Those are the people that are going to thrive with Jupiter and Jeshta. You're going to see a lot of stories in the news about financial situations of war veterans. Things coming in favor of war veterans. And in Jeshta as well, definitely speculative markets will go through the most ups and downs, like stock market, cryptocurrency market. Those will be the most volatile. Where one gains is winning battles with larger organizations and committees. Working on an economic plan for the common man, not for the elite. Elite in the Jeshta one, financial speculations will be the most volatile. But this is the greatest period of Jupiter and Jeshta to say that I'm going to take this challenge. I'm going to do this. Like if somebody wants to become an IS officer and you have been afraid to take the test, afraid to, face some humiliation if you fail, challenge yourself during Jeshta Nakshatra period that I want to do this. And especially for those who have, Jupiter transiting, especially from the moon in the second, fourth, fifth, ninth, or 11th house, those challenges will be fulfilled. But you're going to see a lot of situations literally to huge transformation in economics and finances in general. In general. So, um, although once if I was to get into like details of each ascendant, I mean it would just become more fun. But then there's so many, because remember, I'm like only giving 60%, 50% of the info because there is some a lot of dark side to some of these nakshatras. A lot of dark side, and the thing is, if I say something, somebody innocent who doesn't know too much about astrology, doesn't know too much about me, will suddenly get scared, will suddenly feel fearful, and I don't like doing that. I don't like putting that unnecessary fear unless I'm actually doing a reading for someone, and then I can say something in my own way, where it doesn't come out as doom and gloom. But this is, I mean, it's I already feel it. It's like subconsciously you become much more in tune with the actual constellation that Jupiter is trying to go through. So, but I mean, you guys should definitely try prashnas using Sastyamsha chart, not even the birth chart. Sastyamsha, if somebody's calling you, you got to see before you even pick up the call what the call is about. You will learn so much about astrology that it'll just become like second nature. You won't even need somebody's assistant or help if you just know the basics. Okay? So, anyway, guys, this was my bit of an analysis on Jupiter's nakshatra for the coming year. So, I wish all of you a happy Jupiter Scorpio transit. Okay. I think I mean, no, I will do that in the private thing because I was actually looking at even horoscope of Conor McGregor, who just lost a fight with Khabib. It's so funny. I've never had any interest, and as soon as Jupiter came on the Scorpio side, I'm like, I feel like I want to go and watch UFC in person, like in New York, that they're gonna have, I believe in November or something. I know I'm not gonna go because tickets are like insanely expensive, but it's just that interest is there. And suddenly I'm like, oh, let me look at Conor McGregor thing. And so it's so to the point, especially when you use like Chara Dasha of Conor and his Yogini Dashas. It's a beautiful analysis, but again, um, I haven't gotten his permission, then why should I show it? That's the principle. So I'll probably just discuss that privately or something, some people or just students. So anyway, guys, I will see you maybe tomorrow with Moon in 8th house for Aries ascendant, right? Okay. See you later.